Welcome to the Hangar Z podcast, brought to you by Vertical Helicasts. In this two-part series, hosts Jack Schonely and John Gray sit down with the 2024 Airborne Public Safety Association's Tactical Flight Officer of the Year award recipient, Senior Deputy Eric Johnson, and Sergeant Jerry Hunter from the Kings County, California Sheriff's Office. Johnson and Hunter discussed the award and their backgrounds in law enforcement, the establishment of their air support unit, and the critical role of aviation in enhancing canine operations and overall public safety within Kings County, California. The conversation highlights the importance of the ongoing development of operational strategies for effective air support. Eric and Jerry emphasize the significance of transparency, the commitment to excellence and hard work, and the impact of their operations on public safety. They also discuss the pride taken in maintaining aircraft and facilities and the role of leadership in fostering a positive culture within their program. The Hangar Z would like to congratulate Senior Deputy Eric Johnson for earning the APSA TFO of the Year award and acknowledge him for his dedication to public safety aviation and the example he sets as a tactical flight officer. Thank you to our sponsors, Astronautics Corporation of America, Bell, and Spectrum Aeromed.
Welcome to the Hangar Z podcast, brought to you by Vertical Helicasts. The Hangar Z podcast is the first and only podcast dedicated to promoting and exploring the personnel and equipment behind the missions in public safety aviation. Join your host, John Gray, Jeff Ratkovich, and Jack Schonely.
Still southbound, skidding to a stop. Stand by here. Looks like you're getting ready to bail. Heads up, guys, bailing. Okay, the guy, he's running through the house, jumping the fence, threw the shotgun, threw something out. Grabbing the shotgun. Don't go over that fence. Don't go over that fence. Grab the shotgun again. He is armed. Stay there. Hold your position.
4 on the stop. You're in custody.
Good advising code 4 on the stop.
So when the Tulare Lake happened, when the flood, it essentially happened within a couple days.
Yeah.
Like thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of water because the rivers overflowed and they flooded into the Tulare Lake basin essentially. But our county roads crews would put road close signs. It's all farmland. There's roads that go, there's homes. Our county roads would put road close signs about a half a mile to a mile before the water actually started. Cause you can just driving down the road. Next thing you know, you're underwater, but people would see the road close sign, drive around it because there's no water. And then in a half a mile, their car's underwater and it's getting swept, downstream.
Crazy.
It's that typical, you're doing traffic control and the person's like, but I live right there.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
You see these flares? What flares?
We had that happen so many times. Eric and I, again, we'd fly over it 5 or 6 times a day downlinking. We'd see roofs of cars.
Yeah.
Completely submerged except for the roof. And we started talking, we don't know if those cars are occupied or not. How long has that car been there? We didn't see it yesterday. So we coordinated with our dive guys. Every time we would see a car, when we would fly over, our dive guys would go out in a boat, make sure nobody was inside the car, that they were able to get out, and then we'd spray paint an orange X on the roof. So I don't know how many, we'd see 5 or 6 cars a day, new cars.
And the water's, probably varying a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. How long did this go on?
Geez, over a year.
Yeah, I think just started drying up. I mean, there's still a small section of water out there, maybe 10 or 20 acres of water, but it took quite a while, 7 or 8 months for it to really start to drain.
That's amazing. Yeah. That is really amazing.
We're talking water so high that there's one home that was 2-story. You can barely see the crest of the roof.
Wow.
Of a 2-story house. That's how high the water was.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. We talked about, obviously, responded patrol requests. We talked about some surveillance that Jerry doesn't like. What other mission profiles we're talking about? Are there some other elements that we should know about?
Just the basic. I mean, we do a little bit of everything. We help every acronym 3-letter team that comes into town. We help DOJ or FBI comes in and asks for help. We help anybody we possibly can for all the lovely surveillance that Sergeant Hunter likes so much. Right. And essentially, so we make our shift and we help on any call we think we can be of assistance.
Right.
Some agencies I know will just stay on the ground and they'll just wait and be reactive. And we try not to be reactive. We try to be proactive.
Good.
So we'll come in, pre-flight the airplane, and we'll take off. And I have a Surface, basically a laptop sitting next to me. And some of the agencies in Kings County run off of one
CAD system,
law enforcement system, and then a few agencies use a different one. So I have access to both CAD systems. I have all of the call screens sitting next to me. So I essentially just look at all the call screens all night long, and we'll just jump from call to call and try to help out any agency we possibly can.
Good.
So that gets sort of difficult sometimes, prioritizing what calls we need to go to. There's a spousal abuse over here. There's, this call over here. Which one do we need to go to? So that can be a little taxing sometimes, but we do a pretty good job about it.
Right. We also help our SWAT team all the time with recon. So before they hit a house, of course, we go and take videos of the location and pictures and provide them with all the recon. Right. But also before they hit the house, again, because we can downlink, we can live stream from the camera. We'll get overhead an hour before they get overhead, and they're just live stream. They're watching it before they load up and go hit the house.
Yeah.
So we could provide them updates, and that's been invaluable.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
That's great. Just if you're a SWAT guy and you can look at a video and then see live as we're driving down the road and approaching. Wow, what could be better than that?
Or we see the target leave.
Yeah.
Hey,
leaves him,
your guy's in a car.
We got him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, this is where he is. And it changes the dynamic, too. It goes from, it elevates the risk a little bit. If you could get your suspect in pocket, when he's away from his residence. I'm not saying it's not safe now, but it lowers, it lowers the risk of serving that search warrant.
Yeah.
Once you have that suspect in custody.
Anything that you're looking at future-wise with the fixed wing for additional profiles, mission profiles?
If you give me enough time on my hands, I'll come up with something.
I'm just curious.
Our sheriff is trying to keep me as busy as possible, so I don't have time on my hands.
So there must be something you're thinking about.
No,
or no?
Honestly, there isn't.
Okay.
There
you got
isn't
enough on your plate?
I think we provide a great service with the equipment that we have, and without having to go out and spend a bunch of taxpayer money on stuff just to, have a newer aircraft. Well, why do I need a brand new aircraft if I can do the same thing with the aircraft that we have? So no, nothing on the plate, as we speak. But again, with the purchase of the helicopter, we got into it at a very low price point to see if we need it, to see if it's going to be an asset to our community, to see if it's going to be an asset to our agency. And if it is, maybe we'll look at buying a bigger one in the future. Let's test the water, just like when we started with our fixed
4 months, right? We're 4 months in.
Yep.
I mean, that's opening stages.
Yeah, being financially responsible and not just throwing $25 million at something, brand new helicopter, brand new searchlight, brand new camera system, and then realize in a year and a half, hey, we really don't need this. That's not responsible.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing with our helicopter. We're going to test the waters, make sure it's valuable. If we outgrow it, see what we need next.
Sure.
But in the meantime, no, we're
fixed wing works so good for us. It's our workhorse. We love that thing.
Right.
We're going to catch way more bad guys with the fixed wing.
Yeah.
They don't know we're there. Generally, they keep moving. They're not hiding underneath the boat. They don't know if anybody's watching them, so they keep on moving.
They think they're good.
Yep.
They think they're
good.
home free.
So,
these guys can't even see me.
And the airplane's way more comfortable for me. Yeah. I can lean the back seat back, kick my feet up, relax.
Yeah.
I like the airplane in terms of instructing people as well.
Yeah.
So I train our TFOs. Well, the airplane, we still have it set up with 2 seats in the back.
Yeah.
So I can sit right next to them for the entire shift and talk them through it, which you can't really do in the helicopter.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it in our old CTLE light sport. My training when I started in 2014, on the ground, they fired up the airplane. They fired up the camera system. He's standing next to me outside the airplane. Hey, touch this. This is how you do this. Okay, have fun. And then just had to learn on my own.
Right.
Which, the learning curve takes a little bit longer.
Sure.
So now it's so much quicker. And more efficient.
While we're stepping in that direction, tell us about the mission equipment you're using. What's on these 2 aircraft?
So the 2 aircraft that's something we're working on, but the 2 aircraft are set up completely different. So you have this learning curve. Our fixed wing is a Cessna 206 with a MX-10 and aero computers.
Okay.
The helicopter has a Fleer 8500 and Churchill.
Okay.
So it's completely different ball games. So I'm still in the process of learning the camera system, everything on the helicopter. I've got the fixed wing stuff down. So that's our mission equipment right now for both of them. And then we also have the Night Sun on the helicopter as well.
Oh, good.
We just acquired a MX-10, so we're actually taking the 8500 off of the helicopter, putting our new MX-10 on it. And eventually my goal is I want both to be universal. I don't want the TFOs having to struggle with, okay, crap, how do I do this on shot over?
Yeah.
You know, I know how to do it on Aero Computer, and at some point we're going to get to that. And,
Right.
And going again back to our command staff, I presented it to our command staff. Our assistant sheriff actually came out and flew with us so we can see what we're talking about. Showed it to him, and he was like, buy whatever you need to buy.
Wow, that's
Wow.
cool.
So
That's really smart to bring them out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's because, let's face it, nobody on a department of any size that hasn't been in the aircraft understands what's happening in that aircraft.
Correct.
They just don't. And
Correct.
if you get them in, it's like a light bulb goes off,
Right.
doesn't it? I mean, I'm sure you saw that. We saw it too, especially when we were asking for something big. You know, they said, well, do you really need that? Come on up, we'll show you.
right.
And boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
I mean, you say, wow, that is really beneficial to your job, isn't it? Yes, it is. And the checkbook comes out. You know, it's amazing.
100%. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I had went to our assistant sheriff for a lot of things. He is a fantastic leader, great guy. He's the one that doesn't allow me in his office anymore, because every time I go in there, I ask for money.
When you're coming in the parking lot, they say, lock the doors.
Yes.
Jerry's here.
So
Lock
we're,
the
Close sign
doors.
comes
His
up.
electric key doesn't get him in the door. He has to knock.
we're flying, and I hear him get on our radio, because I'm listening to the law radio as well as all the aviation stuff. I hear him get on the radio and ask if I was working. And I was like, this is never a good thing.
Boy.
He's
Yeah.
on the radio, on our frequency. And I had a collateral TFO with me at the time. Eric wasn't in the aircraft, and she said, yeah, he's working. I said, well, have him call me as soon as he lands. It's 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Assistant sheriffs don't call you at 8 o'clock at
Oh,
night.
that's a little odd, huh?
So, of course, land immediately, get on the phone with him. He said, are you guys working tomorrow night, Friday night? I said, yes. He says, I'm going to come ride with you. I said, okay, not a problem. So he shows up, and he had never been in our aircraft before. So he wanted to see everything I was asking for himself. It paints a better picture for him. So he jumped in the following night. We flew around for about 3 hours, landed, got gas, and I said, hey, do you want me to taxi back to where you parked? And he said, are you guys going home already? I said, no, we're not off till 4 a.m. He was like, let's go get gas and go
Wow,
Airborne again.
That's cool.
And he
That is
flew with
really
us.
nice.
He flew with us all night.
Wow.
And was blown away by it. He sees everything, you know, that we put on paper, but for him to actually be in our aircraft, he sat up front with me, watched everything the TFO was doing, saw everything with his own eyes. And I think it's just made my job a lot easier of going and asking for things and being able to explain the importance of why we need, you know, a certain piece of equipment. He's seen it with his own eyes.
Yeah.
But it goes back to the leadership that Eric and I are super fortunate to have. I'm not trying to kiss anybody's ass. I'm not an ass kisser by any means. But the leadership of our command staff, a lot of people don't get that that support. You know, I hear horror stories of other agencies of, you know, the first thing they want to cut is air support if there's any financial crisis. Our command staff, the leadership that they've shown with our program is insane. It's absolutely amazing.
That's good. That's where it starts, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you had a lot of support all the time, or most of the time, or how did that work?
Yeah,
in Ontario?
our support was amazing, and we did a lot of what you're talking about. You know, we had partnerships with every department in the city, and we'd have them comply with us as much as we could. Economic development was the biggest part of that. We flew with economic development probably once or twice a week. They'd come up showing a potential developer, an investor, some property, and they were with us for the whole patrol flight. It was a patrol flight that they were on. They just happened to be on that flight, and at some point during the flight, we take them over the property that they want to look at. So economic development was intimately familiar with our mission set, our equipment, what we could do for not just them, but as a law enforcement platform. So yeah, that was key. You know, so.
And did that Eric Widener guy have anything to do with that? I mean,
just maybe. What you're describing, you know, all these things that you've been able to acquire, it's not by accident, obviously. You know, you put a lot of intentionality behind what you're doing. So I give you a lot of credit for having a vision and executing, you know, and obviously if that vision didn't come to fruition, if you're not producing results, you're going to stop getting stuff. They're going to start saying no because I'm not seeing the results that I want to see. Obviously that's the opposite, right?
Correct.
They're asking for more, and that's great.
Yeah.
Bell is proud to sponsor Vertical Helicasts and their vision to hold meaningful mission, safety, and best practice conversations in the helicopter industry. The lessons learned from these conversations will undoubtedly shape the future of both new and veteran helicopter operators.
And again, it's leadership of our administration. Our sheriff is a very much a forward thinker. And I can't remember his exact quote is, but if we're not moving forward, we're stagnant.
Yeah.
Something of that nature.
This man right behind you, Terry Mouchy, has a saying just like that about leadership. I love that.
Yeah.
And he's been supportive. All of our command staff has been supportive.
That's so important.
It's extremely.
Because we all have heard horror stories from
Right.
other places, like you said, and where you go, they don't have the support. They have half-ass support, or they have support for a minute, and then the second something goes a little wrong or our budget gets scrutinized, they go, we don't, they will bail out. So important to have that. I saw that a lot with Stanislaus County, how they started and how the support of the sheriff, Adam Christensen at the time, who's a friend, and his support helped them expand, and continue to evolve, just like you're describing in your unit. But if he thought, it's okay, they would never be where they are now.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And, even if he was lukewarm to it, they wouldn't have the things and be able to do the missions and the things that they accomplished. So I watched them carefully only because Adam was a friend and I got up there regularly, that I got to see that and say, wow, it's so nice that Adam's here. And the person that is now the sheriff, Dursk, I believe is his name, he's supportive of it too. And they continue to maintain and evolve. But without that, a new sheriff comes in, you'd be gone tomorrow.
Correct.
You guys
Correct.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is. Little less in a city with a mayor, city council, and a police chief. But in the sheriff's office, that new sheriff, if he came in, he or she came in and they said, I don't like your support. Bam.
Correct.
You're back to detectives.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
So
Great.
you count your blessings while you have that, and keep it rolling.
And I think a lot of that success from a unit manager perspective is being transparent. I don't know how many times I'm guilty of it myself, whether it was with canine on SWAT, whatever. When you want to acquire something, you only provide one side of the picture of why we need it. There's usually never any, you don't, when you're putting pen to paper, this is why we need this, but you don't put in, certain information that's extremely important, like cost. And so as a unit manager, I think it's invaluable to be extremely transparent.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what we want. This is why we want it, but this is also how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
And being honest.
Yeah.
I don't want my sheriff to get a bill and say, well, hang on, you said the operating cost was only going to be $550 an hour. Our fiscal lady did the numbers and it's $1,200 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm not going to set
reflects on
anybody
you.
up. It does,
right?
100%.
And your reputation, the next time you go in, they go away.
Yep. You have to be extremely
remember
transparent.
Last year? That's an important lesson.
You have to be transparent.
Everybody.
And you have to take pride into, Eric and I are both extremely passionate about what we do. And you have to take pride in it. Anytime somebody's come to our hangar and seen our aircraft, we wax it every single day.
Yeah.
We wax our aircraft every single day.
I love it.
At the end of a flight.
Yeah.
But they see it and it's a reflection of our unit. They walk in our hangar, the floors are, we mop our floors, we keep everything clean. Our aircraft is extremely clean and holy crap. These guys,
pride.
We take pride
Yeah.
in what we do. And I think that's helped us out a lot as
Sure
well.
it does. Sure it does. It helps reputation within your own department.
Yes.
A patrol deputy comes in. I'm sure they come over and stop by and visit and hang. Wow.
Right.
They notice that.
Right.
And then like you said, visitors, vendors. Everybody that steps in there is going to notice it and talk about it.
What's interesting as we talk through this, your program and Oxford's program, Oxford, Alabama, very similar. You and Jake Durham are both super resourceful in how you're, taking things that are available like pilots and bringing them within the department to accomplish the goal that you have. It's really interesting to see how similar you guys are, taking pride in your aircraft, taking pride in being responsible for what you're doing for the community.
Yeah.
Love that. That's great.
Yeah. The hangar made you think of that, didn't it? Because we were just in Oxford on the Hangar Z tour, and you can eat off that floor. It was amazing. We walked in and said, "There's a one ship operation in the middle of Alabama," and you walk into their hangar and go, "Whoa!" Immediately go, "Whoa!" It's immaculate. There's not a speck on the floor. The helicopter, it looked like it had just been waxed too. I mean, just everything you just described. And that took two people that have been around a while and had their own hangars and been visiting other hangars. And we both, all three of us, you, me, and Brent, all went, wow, look at this. This is professional operations. They take it seriously. They're not, it's not fly by night. These guys are doing it correctly.
It's not a flying club.
Nope. And sure enough, the longer we were there, the more we learned, the more we said, wow, we were right. First impression was absolutely correct in Oxford, Alabama, wasn't it? And it started with the floor. I mean,
he was pressure
funny.
washing ours last week.
That's my...
See, it sounds silly, but to us, it's not silly. Right. I'm sure that most people that are listening are, in law enforcement aviation, but there's going to be some people that are outside law enforcement aviation. They go, what are these guys talking about the floor for? Well, when you have a a machine that doesn't like dirt in places that there shouldn't be dirt, and it's a safety thing. Yes. And it's pride, it's safety, it's appearance, it's professionalism, it's all of the above. And like I said, first impressions,
the cleanliness of that floor is probably reflective of the cleanliness of that aircraft and the reliability of the engine and all those things.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I believe it. So good for you guys for taking that seriously.
We don't have a cleaning crew at our hangar, so it's Eric and I.
Yeah, you do.
And we go so far. We're so picky about our hangar. Eric and I go even further that we have a refrigerator in our office. We stock it with every known drink you can drink, just in case we get a visitor. Hey, we pay for that out of our own pocket, just because we want the representation, like you were saying, to be professional. Yeah. And you don't get a second chance to make that first impression. If somebody comes and wants a Coke, go in the fridge. There's Coke in the fridge.
Cool.
Next time we're driving down the 5 or the 99.
Yeah.
I'm
thirsty. Shoot on over.
Hey, 7-Eleven's right there, but Hanford Airport's right over here. Let's go visit.
Free.
Eric and Jerry.
There's another reason. Again, as a unit manager, I want to, obviously run a super successful program, but the more buy-in I can get from guys on the ground, the more support it gives to us. So that's why it may seem, elementary of having a fridge stocked with every kind of soda and Gatorade. That may seem elementary to some people, but for me, it's when that patrol deputy comes in, he's able to go get a Gatorade out of a refrigerator, sit down and talk to us, and then learn more about our program. Holy crap, I support that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Little things like that are important.
When it started, we had a lot of naysayers. This is the dumbest thing. This is a waste of money. You guys aren't going to do anything. And now people that I didn't care for, that don't care for me, will call me, man, that was bitching. I can't believe you guys did that, man. Thanks for the help. And we have a lot of support now from most of the guys.
That's fantastic. You earned it, though. You got to earn it, and you did.
True.
It doesn't come automatic.
Yeah. Getting to this point in the conversation, it's no shock to me that you guys won collectively. I mean, I know you won the award. I shouldn't say it's an award. I hate saying that. You earned this award for TFO of the Year. And you guys did this jointly. So it's no surprise to me, based on this conversation, that you are the recipient of that award. I'm in suspense. I want to hear it.
Run with it.
Yeah, let's go. What
Here
happened?
we go, ladies and gentlemen. Drum
That's
roll.
a good question, because I didn't even know I was nominated for anything.
I will have the benefit of explaining, because Eric is extremely humble, and he doesn't like to take credit for a lot of things that he does, and a lot of recognition that he deserves. So TFO of the Year award, you have to write a nomination letter to APSA. It goes through a panel. The panel, picks however many of the top 5 or whatever, then it gets scrutinized again, and then they come up with a winner. So I based it off of everything Eric has done for our unit for the past year, not just one single incident. I'm not taking anything away from anyone that's won TFO of the Year award before, but sometimes it is a extremely critical incident that the TFO did a fantastic job, but there's only one incident. Eric demonstrates what I believe. He demonstrates the professionalism every single day that we fly. It doesn't matter what type of call it is. He's actively hunting bad guys. He's actively trying to, serve our community. So I nominated him, and I just documented different types of calls that we've had, to where not only has he operated the camera, but he's set a perimeter. He's walked in attack team, on an armed suspect. He's told them where their last position of cover is going to be. He's told canine handlers where to deploy their dogs from, if it's safe, without giving giving up cover and concealment or losing the tactical advantage. Broadcasting in our aircraft, we don't have the ability to simulcast. We've been on pursuits with 3 or 4 different agencies, and Eric is simulcasting by changing the radio channel. He'll say one thing on one channel, change it, say the same thing, change the radio channel again, say the same thing. And we're talking pursuits that go over an hour of doing that with every single agency. I threw out some calls that were there. One in particular, we had a shooting out in the county. The suspect was armed. It was broad daylight. We just got to work, actually. We were pre-flight in the aircraft when the shooting call came out. Suspect walked up, shot another guy, took off, fled on foot out through an orchard. We take off. We won't go into details about the takeoff, but we take off.
Wait a minute.
Oh, you can't get away with that.
Gave it away. Let's hear it. How was the departure?
I wasn't out of its nest.
There may have been a bird strike.
Okay, gotcha.
No, but we recognize the seriousness of it, so we scoot over there, and it's only about 6 miles from the airport. So I'm screaming, getting the aircraft there. But we get overhead. Eric immediately sees the suspect running through an orchard, still armed with a handgun.
And it's really close to a school. He had actually ran right past an elementary school.
Right across the street from a school. We have every resource responding to this. So Eric is transmitting the suspect's location. He's then immediately zooming out, setting a perimeter. He's walking guys in. It was just 5 or 6 things going on at one time, and Eric was doing all of it. I did nothing. I flew the airplane in a circle. I flew the airplane in a circle, but Eric he set a perimeter, put the school on lockdown, told the units that were responding where he was. Our SWAT team responded. He walked our guys in. Okay, hey, stop your car right there. He's going to come directly to you. Maintain that as your tactical advantage using cover. And they're able to engage the suspect and take him into custody. That was just one call where Eric has done not only camera operations, but he's setting a perimeter. He's directing units. He's telling our dispatch, hey, make sure the school's on lockdown. Hey, the next patrol car, I need you to stop right here. And all that does, and I know this from being a sergeant on patrol, that alleviates my workload. I can focus on my guys. I can focus on my guys and coming up with a plan of action because I have somebody else doing everything else for me.
You protect and defend. So do we. Astronautics' proven cybersecurity, connectivity, and upgrade solutions support helicopter OEMs and operators worldwide. When the mission matters, you need to trust that your avionics systems are secure, connected, and reliable because lives depend on it. Continue to protect and defend. So will we. Contact Astronautics at www.astronautics.com.
That was one call. We had another call. We were assisting another agency. He was 87 years old, several mental health problems, several medical problems in an assisted living center out in the middle of nowhere. And as Eric called it, he escaped. He
had dementia and he jumped out of a window in the middle of the night.
Yeah. They couldn't find him for hours. So that agency called us. We searched for, an hour,
it was
an hour and a half. It's in the middle of the winter. This old man is wearing a tank top and boxers out in the middle of nowhere, all farmland except for this living facility. So we searched for at least an hour, maybe even 2 hours flying around. Eric was like, okay, with this age, with these problems, he couldn't have gone, he should be within this certain radius. So we search. Eric couldn't find it. And at that point, I'm like, okay, are we off to the next call? And he goes, nope, fly a wider orbit. We're not leaving. I said, okay. So we started flying about an 8-mile orbit around where this house was. And about 45 minutes into that search, Eric found him laying in an orchard or in a grape vineyard.
Wow.
So
how far do you think, Eric?
It was over 5 miles.
4 to 5 miles away from
No
it.
kidding.
Yeah, he had made it a ways.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's just little things like that Eric said, I'm not giving up. I'm not going to, and of course we're listening to the radio for other priority calls, but I asked Eric, I said, hey, are we going to clear? And he goes, nope, we're not leaving.
Good for you.
Expand your orbit. I said, okay.
Wow.
I like finding people.
Obviously.
That was one thing I liked about running a canine.
Yep.
I had partners that hated me because I'm like, I don't care if it was a runaway kid that was out in the middle. These parents want their kids back.
Yeah.
I got a dog that can help track.
Yep.
I would walk 5 miles as long as there's no calls for service I needed to go to. And, hey, Sarge, can I run my dog? Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
And I'd have partners walking. Man, I'm tired. I don't. Well, then get back in your car. I'm going to keep walking my dog.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way in the airplane. I just like to keep searching. I hate when people get away.
It is frustrating,
gets to
isn't
me.
it?
It is frustrating when people get away.
Boy, oh boy. Especially if you've seen them, you know, and then you go, well, I know they exist. It's not some citizen telling me I saw them, and now you can't find them, or it's going long, and you just go, I got to find this guy. Because if you walk away, I can remember many cases and just kick yourself. And
knock on wood, in any pursuit that we've been overhead.
I was just going to touch on that.
In the last 2.5 years, any pursuit we've been overhead, we've had 100% capture rate.
Yeah, baby.
Wow.
We chased a guy for 3.5 hours, all the way to the Grapevine, all the way down through 3 or 4 different counties. He stopped and got gas, and and
are you kidding?
Yeah. And I was like, no, and we were bingo fuel.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to land right when they spike stripped him and got him in custody.
Wow.
So yeah, but we like chasing
So
people.
you got to miss the fun at the end?
We did.
Did you? Oh boy.
It was frustrating, but they got him.
You were responsible for that, getting that far, right?
He stopped at a little Cocos Frios stand too, and it's like, man, and same thing. I was channel to channel. Hey, going to this agency. Hey, can you get this guy stopped? Yeah, we'll send units that way. Cool. Okay, now he's out of your agency. Now he's going into this town. Get it on them. Hey, we're not going to chase him. We're just going to follow him. Okay, let's go to another one. Try to find something that's going to help us. And we just over and over and over. It took a while.
Wow.
We're sitting here looking at the Leon County ship, and I'm thinking as you guys are talking about these examples of the good work that he's doing, of our conversation with Lee Majors.
Yeah.
His thing that since he said it, it's stuck with me. We catch the bad guys and find the good guys.
Yes.
And those examples are exactly what he described.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
It's really neat. Those examples that you brought up are just that. You know, you talk about the difficulty that comes with multitasking with critical instance, that shooting you're talking about. That's why being a TFO is so hard, because you're not doing one thing. You're thinking in advance. You know, you're positioning tactical teams. You're having the school, like all the things you talked about. That's why it's so hard. It's a great example of why you deserve this recognition.
Yeah.
So well done.
Really well done, Eric. And some of the credit has to go to this man right here.
You 100%. 100%.
So I know why you picked him, because you were around him a lot, and you saw his work ethic, and you saw his passion in canine, and you went, well, I know who's coming here. Good choice, huh?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
It was all right.
It was all right choice.
It was really good choice. Excellent.
No, it all goes down to going back to the TFO of the Year award. In my mind, a TFO is not somebody that's just an expert at operating the camera, but is an expert in law enforcement aviation as a whole, whether it's CRM, public safety, setting perimeter, everything that we just spoke about. That, in my opinion, is the TFO's job. It isn't just getting overhead. Okay, hey, we searched the area, whatever. It's being able to encompass everything, as well as providing a resource to the community, educating the community. Eric just did. We did another open house with an organization. Eric explained to the public, what we do, showed them videos. It's everything. He's enabling our program, and he's allowing our program to continue to build and be successful by sharing information and doing everything that he does. Eric's very humble about the job that he does, and he kind of, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, he kind of just threw something out there and changed the topic. Since we've been full-time, this is no kidding, God's honest truth, since we've been full-time with our aircraft overhead, Eric has a 100% capture rate of every suspect involved in a foot chase or a car chase.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
That's awesome.
I can't say that. Can you say that?
No.
Of every suspect. Sometimes there's 5 people that bail out of a car.
Well, we had the one with 5 people, and the ground units gave up, and not because we gave up. We caught 4 of them.
Yeah.
And we're like, the other one's still in the orchard. I guarantee you he's in the orchard.
Yeah. And they go, we don't need him.
And they're like, he's a passenger. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I'll stay up.
That's
for a
fair
passenger.
enough.
I love that you can name the one guy.
Yes.
Of all the ones.
But
and this is when he was dressed in, and he had a goatee, and
right.
We knew where he was. But there's another call too for the nomination. It seemed very I don't know what word to use, but we got a call to help look for an ag theft suspect that was stealing pomegranates. Big deal. right?
California felony.
Well, unbeknownst to us, this act theft suspect had been committing these pomegranate thefts throughout the year, and it was almost, I think it was around $500,000 worth of pomegranates that this guy had been stealing. So it went
him
from
or his team, yeah.
It went from like, who cares, a guy stealing a pomegranate to holy crap, this is a problem. It was such a problem for the rancher. They were taking so much loss that they hired private security to catch this guy. We're flying. We get a call to help another agency with this call for service. The private security found a bunch of bags of pomegranates lined up in an orchard. So they knew he was there. Drove around, couldn't find his car. So deputies get there. They searched. I want to say that the orchard was about 5,000 acres, if I remember correctly. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. And searching orchards is extremely hard because of the canopy. And it was at night, so Eric's on FLIR. So we fly over there, make one wide orbit trying to figure out where the search area is. Eric was, okay, it's going to be in this orchard. We're on that call for 3 minutes and 43 seconds, and Eric found the guy hiding in a tree.
Wow.
In a 5,000-acre orchard.
That's cool.
3 minutes.
Hey, Eric, pick up the pace next time, will you?
Right.
3 minutes and 43 seconds.
And honestly, he was way on the outside edge of our orbit, and Sergeant Hunter had actually just put me directly over the top of him. It almost made my camera, and it starts to nadir.
Yeah.
And I was only able to see him in about 2 seconds of that orbit. And I saw one little hot spot in this tree as we went right over the top of it.
Yep.
And I'm like, God, man, I'm going to mark that. I think that might be him. And we came back around, didn't see him. Came back around, couldn't see it. Came back around. So I'm like, I'm going to get the deputies to go check it out.
Yeah.
Told these deputies, told them what row of the orchard to go into. They both walked up, and you can see him walking and looking underneath the tree. And I'm like, it's a freaking dog or something. Like, it's a coyote or it's a cat or a raccoon.
Bird.
And they're looking, and it's just a little speck. And they're looking, all of a sudden, you see the guy crawling out. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
that is awesome.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes and 43 seconds. The video is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That is awesome.
To see a little tiny, if you don't know what you're looking at on the screen, even other TFOs that we've showed them the video. If even knowing what a heat signature is, if you're not paying super close attention, you won't see it. It was literally, he said it was 2 seconds.
Yeah.
2 seconds of a little tiny heat signature, and then he marked it. And like Eric said, when the deputies were walking up, I was like, oh, great. We're walking them into an owl in a tree or something. Because the heat signature was so small, you can tell what it was.
Yeah.
You had no idea. And we couldn't see it from any other angle. So I kept trying to reposition the aircraft to get a different angle to try to identify what this heat signature is. And we couldn't see it, except for that one time. When the deputies are walking up, I was like, oh, geez, their hands are no gun out.
Right.
And they're looking around.
Body language was telling you. Nah.
And then all of a sudden, you see their body language change. And then you see a guy come crawling out of the tree. And that was the suspect that had been involved in all the other thefts as well.
Wow.
So
we talk about the time savings that we afford the tactical units on the ground, the patrol units that would spend time searching a 5,000-acre property.
My
hours.
Man, you saved a lot of time.
Canines and,
a lot of headaches, some broken ankles, some injuries, amazing. That is what we're wanting to do, right? That is a true effective air crew. That is cool.
Yeah, it's great. And it's the stuff that the public needs to hear, and your sheriff obviously knows and is happy with, but the public needs to hear that too and says, wow, look at this.
Sometimes it's just dumb luck, though.
Yeah, sometimes. But
sometimes. I'll give you a real quick example. This is one of the scariest one.
Thank you to our sponsor, Spectrum Aeromed. Spectrum Aeromed is your trusted partner in air medical solutions. Experience safety and innovation with their customized interiors, designed for both rotor and fixed-wing aircraft. Elevate your patient care with Spectrum Aeromed. For more information, visit spectrum-aeromed.com.
We were Stratford, which is way South County, probably, about a 7 or 8 minute flight from Hanford. Well, Hanford had a strong armed robbery. Guy went to Home Depot, stole some stuff, got in a wrestling match with security on his way out. And they go, hey, we know his name, we know his first name, and he lives in Fresno. He left in a red car. This is 5 o'clock in the evening, rush hour traffic on like a Wednesday or Thursday. And I'm like, hey, start heading towards Hanford. So we start going towards Hanford. I'm like, which way would I go if I was a bad guy back to Fresno? I'd probably take Highway 43. So we go over to Highway 43, and mind you,
But there's multiple highways, by the way.
yeah,
Sure.
there's
So he
multiple ways he
picks
could have gone. He could have gone
43.
43 or 41. I'm like, let's just try 43. And we're there in like 10 minutes. About 10 minutes after the crime happened, and I see a line of cars on Highway 43 going northbound, and I see one red car.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, screw it. Let's see what happens. See if we
What
get
he
any
doesn't tell you is we're about 25 miles outside of the city of Hanford now,
Uh-huh.
where this red car is.
Yes.
So-
yes.
So I'm trying to get our deputies, but mind you, our deputies at shift change, they're all at the office, trying to get our deputies there. And I'm like, I don't want to waste anybody's time, but man, what if this is him? So we get out of our county. I'm switching over to different agencies' channels, and I get a hold of Selma PD. And I'm like, hey, this guy's coming into your town. Not sure if this is the suspect. It's a red car, matches the description. This is the suspect's description. If he drives by you and it looks like him, can you guys just get a stop on him and see if it's him or not? Didn't say it was a suspect.
I thought I was getting fired this day.
So this guy makes it into town, and no kidding, they do a felony stop on this guy. 4 patrol cars block off all
boy.
4 lanes of traffic, and I'm like, oh, crap, this is not good.
That's not what I
Like,
said.
that's not what I
Right.
said. Didn't know if it was a suspect. And they pull 2 people out of the car. I'm like, nobody ever said there's 2 suspects. I'm like, yeah, we're done. Like, they're going to say I told them to make a felony stop on this guy. And I'm like, and so we're sitting there in suspense for probably 30, 45 seconds. I'm like, run a name. And they ran the guy's name. Like, that was him.
It was
Just
the
complete dumb
suspect.
luck. Complete dumb luck.
So now I'm going to argue with you and tell you that wasn't dumb luck at all.
No.
And it wasn't. That was you applying your local knowledge, looking at options based on the facts you had and saying, he could go here, here, and here. Let's try this. That's not luck. Eric, that was you.
Yeah, but the one red car was luck.
Yeah.
Well, but it's nice of them to have a red car. That was luck.
Yeah.
Okay. If it was a white Honda, it might
Right.
not have turned out so great. But that's what you had. I mean, the fact that you were able to, decide on where we're going to check, that's experience and skill and assertiveness and a lot of other things. Good for you. Good for you.
It
That's
was
great.
Watching that agency block a highway and do a felony
Yes,
stop and start
yes,
proning
yes.
people out.
You're getting ready to make a reservation for IA.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So what had
I'm-
happened was,
Been there,
I'm
done
up
that.
front sweating
Yeah.
and looking at Eric going, oh my gosh, this isn't what you told them to
Yeah.
do. You just said, hey, see if the driver looks like this.
That I used to, when I was teaching the TFO class, one of the things, I can't remember which class it was patrol operations. I talked about this exact thing for like 20 minutes saying, when you're the TFO and you're initiating something, tell them exactly what you have, what you've seen, and what you want them to do, because that will happen. I've had it happen where you just say, hey, take a look at this guy. Next thing you know, there's guns out. You go,
Guns drawn.
wow.
yeah.
You know,
I'm like, this is going
exact
to be
same
some
thing.
90-year-old guy on his way home
Yes.
from the hospital, and he's going to have a heart attack,
That's right.
and we're going to get fired.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
horrible.
Hey, Jerry, thanks for having me in the unit. I really enjoyed it. I really appreciate your faith in me, but this is my last flight.
And
Right.
I'm going to animal control.
Yeah.
And,
I'm going to be rounding up horses and goats.
Cleaning stray animal kennels.
Hey, Jerry, don't worry. They'll probably send me over to clean the hangar. I'll keep up the
keep the
wax
floors
job.
clean.
I'll keep the aircraft waxed.
I would be the one that gets whacked. He'd be in animal control. I'd be in the unemployment line.
That's fantastic.
How did you allow this to happen? Well, see,
Well-
Sheriff, I told him not to.
That's not on the recording.
Well, we sure figured out quickly here why Eric is getting this award. Congratulations again. I mean, we started with congratulations, not even knowing the story. And now it's like, you just wowed us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm speaking out loud for John. I know you're wowed much like I am, because we know how tough that job is, and we've been there, done that. And I mean, the list of things you gave, Eric, you're a talented TFO. You're the person that every unit wants people like you.
Right.
That's a fact.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And yeah, are there others doing that kind of work? Sure, but there's many that don't. They're TFOs, but are they really TFOs? I mean, you're what I want next to me if I'm flying, because it's going to be fun, it's going to be rewarding, and we're going to put bad guys in jail. Congratulations.
Cool. Thank you.
Outstanding work. I'm really proud to be here with you.
Yeah. We've managed to shut down AppsCon. There's only cleaning crews in here now. It's pretty cool. I've
Yeah,
never done this before.
Turn out the
We're-
lights.
At least the lights are still on.
We're going to
The
go to
party's
the FLIR Awards here
over.
pretty soon, but I do want to say one thing before we close out, and I've brought this up, I think maybe in the Leadership Summit, but on the topic of leadership, I've talked about how important it is for leaders to recognize the folks that work for them. And you've got a leader that does that.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it's important for the employees that work for that leader. I think it does wonders for the program that you're a part of. It helps shine a light on the things that you're doing. So I just give you a lot of credit as a leader to recognize the folks that work for you. It does a lot, and I really appreciate folks that do that. It's easy to just be like, oh, that's just what we do.
Right.
Like, no, that's not just what we do. That's what this person does. And this deserves recognition. So well done on that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It takes somebody initiating that, and there's a lot of supervisors and so-called leaders that say, "Oh, well, that's their job." Like you said, that's their job.
Right.
Yeah, it is, but not everybody does it to that line. You're setting the bar high, and you're setting an example for these other part-timers because they're going to know all about this. I mean, they already do, obviously, but the recognition, they go, "Oh, that's the gold standard there." So now what you say now to those young TFOs that are coming to you, you're going to be gold, man. And they're going to trust you and say, well, that's amazing that he does this. Could I do that? Maybe. But it's a lot of things: work ethic, experience, assertiveness, not being scared to be wrong.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many times I told people, you can't catch fish unless you go fishing, right?
It's true. Yeah.
So, it would have been easy to say, there's a million red cars. Yeah, but there's a red car, and he's in the place that I wanted, and I thought, let's give it a shot.
Right.
That could have been complete failure. So what? Then you look for another red car, right? I mean, if they would have gone out and said, oh no, it's a 90-year-old male, then you go, hey, okay, thanks. And now you search some more. And I know he would have searched some more.
Then
Right?
they're making the reservation for IA is what they're doing.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And that happens more often than not.
Sure, it does.
We try.
Sure, it does. But again, if you don't try, like on FLIR searches, that little speck, you could have written that off in your head very easily. Man, it's really small. It's easy to justify not sending somebody to that. But the fact is, I'll bet you, we'll make a bet right now, at the FLIR Awards tonight, there's going to be a FLIR Award, and I don't know what they are. I don't know the agencies. I don't know who's getting them for what, but I'll bet you one of them's going to be a speck. You watch. One of them's going to be a speck of heat, and they go, what's that? I don't know, partner. What do you think? And you go, I don't know. And next thing you know, there's a dog on it, and the guy's in custody, just like you just described.
Yep.
But again, it would have been easy to just say, that's an animal. That's too small. That's too this. That's too that. You got to know. You got to know, man. You got to send somebody to
Send
it.
somebody over there and check it out.
And they can tell you, it's a possum. It's a raccoon. It's a pipe. It's whatever. But if you don't initiate that and you walk away and not do it, that guy gets away and he continues stealing, stuff for hundreds of thousands of dollars more. Great job.
Yeah.
Great job, man.
I think a key word to that is passion.
Yeah.
Having the passion to want to find people. I don't know how many times I've looked at Eric and said, dude, I think we've searched enough. He's like, nope, keep going. I don't have anything else going on. Keep going.
Hey, bus driver, quiet down over there. That's what he's saying,
As I'm listening to Hangar Z on podcast.
Sometimes I'm kicking his seat. Hey, are you listening to me?
No, I'm listening to John Gray.
Yeah. But going back to directing deputies on the ground, it's so relieving that now when Eric directs our deputies to something that he doesn't know what it is, it just, a speck of heat, something. I don't know how many times I've heard, County, give us the air. We have one in gunpoint. And to those guys, it's, heck yeah, I'll go check. Even if it requires me to walk a quarter mile, if Eric's saying he sees a heat signature of something, you're damn right, I'll go check.
Trust. And they trust you because of success.
Right. Right. It isn't like,
and they're not going to be mad when it is a raccoon.
Correct.
Because because they know that Eric sent me to a lot of good finds. Okay, and now this one is a piece of concrete or a raccoon.
Yeah.
They go, where's the next one, Eric?
Yep.
That's a good thing. Especially in a department your size, because you all know each other.
Right.
We all know. Oh, yeah.
And so now they know. They know that's Eric, and he's skilled. Man, he just won a TFL award.
Right.
Man, I'm going to wherever he tells me to go.
Absolutely.
2 miles down this dirt road, you got it.
In mud.
I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Because I want to find, if I'm the behind the ground, I want to find bad guys just like you do. And if it means walking 2 miles to your heat source, I'd be doing it based on your reputation.
Yeah. And going back to the TFO award, we talked about the benefit you get from winning that award. You know, your chief, your sheriff, he understands what you guys do in aviation. He's seen you guys do it. He thinks what you guys are doing is run of the mill. That's what everybody does, but not when you get something like that. You nominate for that award. Yeah. He knows what you guys are doing is amazing. So absolutely. I guarantee he's going to be more willing to open the door. The close sign might be open now. Right. If you want to get some more money. Yeah. Well done. I like that.
Your key's going to work again.
And we're in the place for it. There's plenty of places to spend money here.
Oh, yeah.
Sheriff's going to be keeping you away from this next year.
Well, no, he's super pumped. All of our like I said, Eric, he won't say it himself, but he's extremely humble, and to him, it's like, oh, okay. But our command staff, the day I found out, you know, I sent an email to everybody, my bosses, and that chain went up, and the sheriff actually texted me. He was like, "Are you kidding me? He got that."
Yeah, baby.
That's cool.
He did. He sure did.
Well, so anything to, as we are anticipating going to the Flair Awards, and
no, I'm just
anything to wrap up here.
Just excited for you guys. Excited, from our last conversation to hear the continued success and the award.
Absolutely.
So congratulations. Looks like we're getting booted out of here actually as we speak. So,
overstayed our welcome.
Party's over.
Pretty cool.
They say that all good things must end. So you don't even know what that is, do you? That's Dandy Don Meredith on Monday Night Football when the game was out of reach in the fourth quarter. That's what he's saying every time.
That's cool.
Look it up on YouTube. You can find Dandy Don. He played for the Cowboys, I think, at one time. Anyway, I echo what John just said. I'm really, really impressed with both of you. I mean, the award's great, but wow, you wouldn't have been in the position to get this award without this guy. Bringing you in and being persistent and not being scared to have somebody say no and staying at it. Great job, both of you. Your sheriff should be very, very proud of both of you, and I'm sure he is. It sounds like you have a wonderful leader, and in 2024, there's fewer of those than ever before in law enforcement, and so be thankful for him, and you tell him that we really are big fans of you guys, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Joining us here on the Hangar Z. It was really fun. So from AppsCon 2024, Houston, Texas, Vertical Valor booth, we say have a great day wherever you are, and let's use Eric as the example that all of our air crews want to be like that and achieve that. Learn some lessons from what you just heard, and we'll all be better for it. Our industry will be better. The citizens will be better. They'll be safer because more bad guys are going to prison.
Yep.
And that's what we're all about. So thanks again.
Cheers,
you, guys. Everybody.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Hangar Z podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to hear more stories that promote the personnel and equipment behind the missions in public safety aviation. Lastly, stand by for a message after a word from our sponsors. Cheers. Thank you to our sponsor, Spectrum Aeromed. Spectrum Aeromed is your trusted partner in air medical solutions. Experience safety and innovation with their customized interiors, designed for both rotor and fixed-wing aircraft. Elevate your patient care with Spectrum Aeromed. For more information, visit spectrum-aeromed.com.
Bell is proud to sponsor Vertical Helicasts and their vision to hold meaningful mission, safety, and best practice conversations in the helicopter industry. The lessons learned from these conversations will undoubtedly shape the future of both new and veteran helicopter operators.
You protect and defend. So do we. Astronautics' proven cybersecurity, connectivity, and upgrade solutions support helicopter OEMs and operators worldwide. When the mission matters, you need to trust that your avionics systems are secure, connected, and reliable because lives depend on it. Continue to protect and defend. So will we. Contact Astronautics at www.astronautics.com.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Hangar Z podcast, brought to you by Vertical Helicasts. We hope you enjoyed this enlightening two-part series featuring Senior Deputy Eric Johnson, the 2024 Airborne Public Safety Association's Tactical Flight Officer of the Year, and Sergeant Jerry Hunter from the Kings County Sheriff's Office. In our conversation, we explored their impressive backgrounds in law enforcement,
the establishment of their air support unit, and the vital role aviation plays in enhancing canine operations and ensuring public safety in Kings County, California. Their insights into operational strategies, transparency, and the commitment to excellence shed light on the impactful work they do. Let's once again extend our heartfelt congratulations to Senior Deputy Eric Johnson for his well-deserved APSA TFO of the Year award. His dedication to public safety aviation and leadership within the program truly sets a remarkable example for all. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share your feedback. Cheers.
Time to close up the hangar. Thanks for joining us on the Hangar Z podcast, brought to you by Vertical Helicasts.